Welcome to Next Level Play Therapy, a weekly podcast dedicated to supporting the next generation of child and adolescent therapists to provide exceptional play therapy services. We'll explore all things play therapy to elevate your work with children and adolescents using the therapeutic powers of play. I'll discuss practical tips and ideas so you can provide a transformative experience for your young clients and make a real difference in their lives. So get ready to take your play therapy skills to the next level and make a lasting impact in the lives of children, adolescents, and families. Good morning. Welcome to this week's live episode talking about all things play therapy and expressive arts. So today I want to talk about what are 4 things that you can do to take your play therapy skills to the next level. If there's one thing that I've learned over the last 30 plus years in child and adolescent mental health, it's that you really do need to have a good grounding in a theoretical model, know how to play. Sorry, my mouth isn't working this morning. Know how to apply that theoretical model. And I would say the key ingredient to all of it is that therapeutic relationship. And if you don't manage your inner critic well, then it is really going to derail the whole process. So those are the things that I want to talk about today in order to help you make a difference in the lives of your clients. If you ask any play therapist, and I would add any mental health provider, why they got into this field to begin with, they will tell you that they want to make a difference. And in child and adolescent mental health, we want to make a difference in the lives of children and adolescents, which means we're going to make a difference in the lives of families, ultimately, because children exist within families. I probably would make the case that that's true for adults as well, when you're working with adults. So let's get started for today, talking about 4 key things that you need to keep in mind in order to take your skills to the next level and make a difference in the lives of children and adolescents the way that you want to move from feeling like a big giant imposter who is not doing a very good job to somebody who feels confident and rewarding to make that difference in the lives of children and their families. So if you're joining me today, I would love to see who's here. Go ahead and post your name in the comments. I'd love to know where you're from, what population you work with, what play therapy modalities are you using? Are you providing play therapy right now? If you're watching on the replay, welcome. I'd love to hear your comments as well. Where are you from? What population you work with? And what questions you have. One of the things we want to keep in mind while we're having these conversations is this is more for education purposes and helping you get to the next level. We're not really staffing cases just because of client privacy. So I would just make that caveat about the purpose of today's session. If you're interested in getting more hands-on support, staffing your cases, I am going to be talking about Play Therapy Academy. That is one of the ways that you get a lot of really good hands-on support to take your play therapy skills to the next level. So I'll talk a little bit more about Play Therapy Academy and some of the courses that I have available at the end. So you'll want to stick around and watch that at the end. I'm Cathi Spooner. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a registered play therapist supervisor here in the United States. And I have been in the mental health field for 30 plus years. I was going to say since the early I got started in 1990. I had been working with children adolescents and families way before that, but that's when I started my master's degree program to do the counseling part. Once I got introduced to play therapy, even before I started my master's program, I got introduced to play therapy, and that was really what was a game changer for me to set me on this path of counseling. So, good morning, Steph. Steph says, looking forward to the live stream. I hope you are doing well. Steph is in my Play Therapy Academy. And so let's get started for today. So first and foremost, if you find yourself doubting that you're doing a good job in your head, if you're hearing yourself tell you that you're terrible, that you're ruining your clients, that you're messing up, if you find that you start getting anxious and worried that what you're doing isn't working, and you switch theory models over and over, and you find yourself kind of all over the map in your play therapy sessions and probably in between sessions, that means you are not managing your inner critic. So your inner critic is going to tell you all the terrible things you are doing as a play therapist, how you're doing it wrong, you're doing a terrible job, you're not helping your clients, you're making things worse. Then you know your inner critic is alive and well, and you need to tell your inner critic to be quiet, go away, and you need to start telling yourself the truth, which is you are doing a good job and you are making a difference. So Steph says, of course, this would be the first one. Yep. I also get out of that's good. Yes. And I would say we all do it in the beginning when we're first learning things. I mean, we feel a tremendous responsibility to help our clients. I mean, we invest time and money to get our master's degree, to get the education and training, because we want to make a difference. We're caring, empathic people. And so it feels like a very heavy weight of responsibility. And so that's what happens. We end up letting our inner critic shut us down and derail us. So first and foremost, I would say the key thing that I've noticed, first and foremost in my own experience going through this process, but also for the last 15 years, supervising and providing consultation for child and adolescent therapists using play therapy, is you really need to shut down that inner critic. You need to recognize your inner critic is alive and well, first and foremost, and then you need to tell it to be quiet. Because what happens is you're going to second guess yourself that you're not doing a good job. You're going to second guess yourself that what you're doing isn't working, which means you're not going to use a clear plan to help you navigate all of the ups and downs, so to speak, through all the stages of the play therapy process. And it's going to be really difficult. And I would say, I think you could say almost impossible to stay congruent in your sessions with that unconditional positive regard and empathy if you're telling yourself you're doing a terrible job. You can't also simultaneously be focused on being congruent with unconditional positive regard and empathy. And so the other thing that'll happen is, and this comes up a lot, I hear this all the time, we talk about this a lot in Play Therapy Academy, is having conversations with parents. And what I find often happens is because your inner critic is telling you you're doing a horrible job, your inner critic tells you basically that you're essentially stealing money, so to speak, when you're meeting with parents, that you have to somehow prove your value and worth to parents so they'll keep their child in play therapy so you can help them and you won't be a big giant failure. Then it's going to make it hard to have those challenging conversations with parents. First and foremost, you have to get clear yourself that you are making a difference. You do know what you're doing. And if you're just learning, that's the whole point of getting consultation and going to training. A lot of what we do in Play Therapy Academy is every time we meet, we're staffing 2 clients every time we meet. So we're going through a theoretical model. We're doing the case conceptualization, which is a fancy way of saying, what exactly is going on with your problem? Because the question that gets asked during the consultation is, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing something differently? And that'll bring us back to, we can't answer that question until we get a clear understanding of what's going on. But what'll happen is that because you're not really grounded in that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about these in a minute, you end up feeling like an imposter with parents. And then what happens is oftentimes you're not having those conversations with parents, the hard ones where you're kind of gently challenging them as a way to give them the support that they really want. You are the expert. Whether or not you feel like the expert, you are the expert, and parents are coming to you for help. And we want to make sure to support parents as much as we support clients. So knowing how to have those conversations with parents is key. And these are a lot of the things that we talk about in our Play Therapy Academy sessions, in our online meetings, which kind of brings me to the next key thing. First and foremost, you are managing your inner critic, telling your imposter syndrome to go away. To do that, you have to manage that inner critic. Secondly, though, in order to feel more confident, and another thing to help get rid of your inner critic is to learn a theory model. Learn how to apply the theory model, because that's how you're going to justify to parents that here's what's happening, here are the stages, and this stage this happens. You'll feel more confident. To do that, though, you have to learn a theoretical model. Play therapy is grounded in a theoretical model. Your theoretical model dictates how you help your clients access those therapeutic powers of play, and all of that is wrapped up in a strong therapeutic relationship. Your theory model is key to making sure that you're helping your clients access those therapeutic powers of play. If you want to get rid of your inner critic, learning a theory model and learning how to apply it is key to help you feel like you know what you're doing. It's like your roadmap. It's like your guide through the process to know what to look for in each stage of change. These are key things. And what I often find happen is your inner critic takes over, and then you're not really taking time to learn a play therapy model because it's hard, it's challenging, it's uncomfortable, which is why it's really important to have really good support. We do a lot of this in Play Therapy Academy, which is helping to take the training that you've gotten for your theoretical model and do the practical application of that. It's really hard to learn a play therapy model all by your onesies. I would say when I started getting play therapy supervision, that was such a game changer. I felt like I had direction. I knew where to go. I knew what was going on. I knew how to make sense of things. My imposter syndrome disappeared once I got that really good grounding. And then it only reared its ugly head every once in a while. To get really good, though, I can't stress enough the importance of learning that theoretical model. And your therapeutic relationship is most definitely important. So I want to give the impression that that's not important. That's not the focus for today. The focus for today is what are some things, like some step-by-step, some practical things you can do to feel more confident and take your skills to the next level. To do that effectively with clients, we always want to wrap that up in a good therapeutic relationship, though. The third thing you want to do is to make sure, I'm going to use some really fancy terms here, so hold on if you haven't heard me talk about these before. The two things I'm about to talk about now, I have gone into much more depth in other live stream episodes. So if you're interested in watching some of my previous live streams, you probably want to hop over there and watch some. I live stream every week into my Facebook group, which is called Play and Expressive Arts Therapy Playground. It's for child and adolescent therapists who want to use play therapy and expressive arts with their clients. So if you're interested in that and you're on Facebook, you can hop over there and join my Facebook group. It's for mental health professionals working with children, adolescents, and families. You do have to answer all of the questions in order to get into the group. If you don't answer all the questions, you won't be able to get in. I also stream every week into my LinkedIn channel, Cathi Spooner. I live stream into my YouTube channel, Cathi Spooner Renewing Hearts Training, and here on Instagram every week. So I go live every week on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Pacific time. If you're not available for the live version where you can kind of interact and ask questions, then you can always watch the replay. And eventually, pretty soon in 2024, these will be a podcast, so you'll be able to access these on a podcast as well. So if you want to watch some of these replays, the best place to find all the replays is on my YouTube channel. You just click on the live tab. If you're in my Facebook group, you can find most of them in the feed. You can also go into the featured section. I pin all of the replays in the featured section. So I have gone into case conceptualization and treatment planning much more depth in these previous episodes. So you may want to go back and watch those. So here's the thing. So you're managing your inner critic and telling your inner critic to be quiet. You are learning a play therapy theoretical model. Stick with one. And once you get really good at that one, then you can always add other ones, but you really want to get a play therapy model. And then the other thing that involves those two is aligning your case conceptualization and your treatment planning with your play therapy theoretical model. So what do I mean by that? Those are two really fancy terms. Clinical case conceptualization is essentially how you are taking all of that information you've gathered from your initial diagnostic session where you're asking a bunch of questions. You're taking all of that information to figure out what exactly is going on. Parents are going to bring their child because they're presenting certain symptoms that are concerning them. With the case conceptualization, what you're doing is you're essentially figuring out what are the roots of that, what underneath the behavior that's activating the behavior, and what are the patterns going on with the child as well as their system that are perpetuating this problem. So that's essentially case conceptualization, and your play therapy theoretical model is going to influence how you define exactly what the problem is. So how somebody using Jungian play therapy defines the problem is going to be different in many ways than somebody who maybe is using Adlerian play therapy, or somebody who's using child-centered play therapy is going to define the problem much differently than probably somebody who's using cognitive behavioral play therapy. Your play therapy model is going to influence how you see the problem. It's also going to influence what you do. So treatment planning is more than just your treatment plan. Your treatment plan is the operationalized plan that you come up with to solve the problem. So your treatment planning takes how you've identified what the problem is and why the problem is happening. And your treatment planning is essentially, what are you going to do to help your client overcome that? So you can see here where your play therapy model is heavily influencing how you're going to do that. It's going to influence what you do in your play therapy sessions, how you apply that model in your play therapy sessions. Ultimately, you end up with, when you do your treatment planning process, ultimately you'll end up with a treatment plan, which is basically kind of telling you what needs to happen in order for the problem to be solved. Child-centered play therapy treatment plan is probably going to look different than maybe a Gestalt play therapy treatment plan or an Adlerian play therapy treatment plan. There are probably some similarities across all of those, how you put that in your treatment plan. Essentially, though, what you do in those sessions and how you do it and how you help your client to get better is going to be influenced by your play therapy model. And this is where getting a lot of what we do in Play Therapy Academy is, how do you do that? It's like the practical application as we're staffing cases. What are you doing in your sessions? We'll watch video, we'll look at themes and recognize those to get a sense of where your client is in the change process. What do you need to do to help them? So really having that ability to have some hands-on support will make a difference. Ultimately, though, in order to really feel like you're doing getting great results, you want to make sure that you're aligning your case conceptualization and your treatment planning with your play therapy theoretical model. And here's the thing, here's the benefit, here's the bonus. It will also help to get rid of your imposter syndrome. You won't feel like you don't know what you're doing because you'll have a framework that's guiding you through the process with your play therapy model. And then you'll be using that to identify what's going on and how you're going to help your client solve that problem, which is then going to make you feel much more confident when you're sitting in front of parents and having a conversation. You'll feel like you're more confident in what you're doing. So these all really go together, to be completely honest. And here's the final thing, and I've kind of been mentioning this throughout the live stream episode, this episode today, which is basically get good training and consultation. That is the game changer to help you feel more confident, to help you know how to apply a theoretical model, help you recognize what is going on with your client and how you can help them, and then be able to feel like you're actually making a difference, because you're going to get the support. It won't just be you trying to figure it out on your own. It's almost impossible to do that when you're learning something. Nobody ends up an expert all by themselves. It's rare. We never use never and always. And the likelihood you're going to end up getting that confidence level and making the difference that you want to make all by your onesies is pretty darn slim. We all need support in order to get there. So investing your time and hard-earned money in some good training and some good consultation to help you get there, I think, is the key to being able to accomplish the three things we just talked about, with getting rid of your inner critic, learning a play therapy model, and aligning your treatment, your case conceptualization with your treatment planning. So that is it for today. Let me do a quick recap First and foremost, you really want to manage your inner critic so that you can show up authentically and congruently in your sessions with your clients. If nothing else, remember this: if your inner critic is just off the chain, being mean to you, settle your mind on this. This is where that therapeutic relationship comes in. Settle your mind on this. If nothing else, remember that the presence of an empathic and caring other is in itself healing. Nobody's perfect. If you show up and you settle your mind on the fact that you are there, that you see your client, that you hear your client, while you are learning the skills needed to apply a play therapy model, do your case conceptualization and your treatment planning, while you're learning all of that, you still know more than your client does. That's what my supervisor said to me early on, like 30 years ago. You know more than they do. And I would laugh and say, no, I don't. And then she would walk me through exactly, yeah, I know this. And I would think, oh, okay, well, that's a good point. The same is true for you. And in the end, your therapeutic presence with them is what kind of keeps them there. That in and of itself is healing while you're learning the skills that you need to take it to the next level and to get those amazing results that you want to get for your clients. Second thing is get grounded in a play therapy model. It will help your inner critic go away for sure. If you take the time to allow yourself to go outside of your comfort zone and stick with it when you feel like you don't know what you're doing, while you're learning to apply the model. Your play therapy model is what helps you to get through each stage of change. It helps you identify what you need to do and how you show up in your play therapy sessions. Your clients will access the therapeutic powers of play through the theoretical model that you're learning. And in order to really learn the model, you need to stick with at least one until you feel proficient, competent to use that one. You don't have to be perfect, but at least get confident before you start applying other models. The third thing is make sure you align your play therapy model, your case conceptualization, and your treatment planning with your play therapy theoretical model. Your play therapy theoretical model will influence how you identify what the problem is and why the problem is happening and what you're going to be doing in your sessions, as well as how you show up in your sessions. So you definitely want to make sure that you're developing some skills with case conceptualization, because that's going to influence your treatment planning. And those are going to influence how you help your client get from the beginning all the way to the end of play therapy and get that change that they're looking for, so you can feel like you're making a difference in the lives of your clients. And then fourth, in order to do these things, you really do need to get good support, getting good training, getting good supervision, also known as consultation. It's an investment of your time and money for sure. And in order to achieve that level of competence that you want to achieve so that you can get those really good results for your clients, you really want to make sure you make that investment, because it is the rare person who can do this all by themselves. So that is it for today. If you're interested in Play Therapy Academy, I have 2 spots left. I have 2 cohorts. I have 1 spot left in the Saturday cohort and 1 spot left in the Wednesday cohort. When these are full and there's not going to be any openings for a while, people tend to stay in Play Therapy Academy, which is awesome. We have an amazing group of mental health professionals in Play Therapy Academy So you get not only my 30 plus years experience. I mean, I've been working with children and adolescents for about 40 years, to be honest. So you not only get all my experience and knowledge, you get the collective knowledge of everyone in the group. And so what we do is we will staff cases. We will take sessions and then kind of break them down. We will walk through that case conceptualization process and that treatment planning process. You will learn how to apply a theoretical play therapy model in your actual sessions and get through all the stages of change in that process. So we do a lot of that in Play Therapy Academy. If you're interested, you probably want to schedule a video call with me soon before these 2 spots fill up. You can schedule a video call. So my amazing virtual assistant, Brill, although you'll see him notice as Dom, he's my virtual assistant. He's going to be posting the links to learn more about Play Therapy Academy in the comments. He's also going to post a link in there. If you want to schedule a free 30-minute video call with me, then you can do that. And the video call it's really the time for me to answer all your questions to make sure it's a good fit. I want to schedule that soon though, because I think these spots are going to fill up pretty quickly. And go ahead and schedule that video call. It's always like meeting new people anyway. So if you're interested in courses, you don't need the play therapy supervision or consultation. Maybe you just need the courses for play. I have a series of courses in the Getting Grounded in Play Therapy Excellence series. That's what I call it. There is Getting Grounded in Play Therapy Foundations, which is the foundation of play therapy. There's also tips in there for how to talk to parents and setting up your playroom, some ethical things to keep in mind in terms of play therapy. So I go over all the questions in there that I usually get asked, then also being able to provide a really firm foundation of what exactly is play therapy and what sets it apart from other from other expressive arts modalities. I also have a course. It's called Getting Grounded in Play Therapy Case Conceptualization. This one walks you step by step through the process to do that case conceptualization so that you can really target what's going on with your client and why it's happening. I call this being a clinical detective. So you're going to learn some clinical detective skills to figure out what's going on with your client. And then the third course I have is Getting Grounded in Play Therapy Treatment Planning. This is where you take that case conceptualization, and this takes you step by step through, first and foremost, the treatment planning process, and then how to actually write play therapy treatment plans that are going to align with your play therapy theoretical model. So I take you step by step through how to write a play therapy treatment plan. First, though, you want to go through that treatment planning process, and then there are some step-by-step with case examples and experiences, how to write that treatment plan. So if you're interested in those, and I also have another course that's coming out in December, which is Getting Grounded in Play Therapy Progress Notes. So you want to be on the lookout for that one coming out. If you're interested in Play Therapy Academy, Play Therapy Academy includes all of these courses in the cost of Play Therapy Academy, in addition to the twice a month group consultation meetings. We also have a group chat feature to get support in between group meetings, and then some other bonuses for Play Therapy Academy. So Play Therapy Academy includes all of the courses I mentioned, plus the meetings, but maybe you don't need the consultation or supervision piece. Maybe you just need one or two of the courses. You can get those separately. So the links for the courses is also in my comments. If you're interested, you can always pop over to my website at rhplaytherapytraining.com. I have some free resources on my website, also information about Play Therapy Academy, also information about the courses. So any of those things to kind of help support you as you are learning play therapy. And maybe you've been doing play therapy for a while and you still need some of this support. That happens as well, because one of the things that I've found is that even though we may be pretty seasoned or have your clinical license, sometimes there are gaps in learning, and this might be useful as well. So anyway, hop over to my website. You'll find all the information there. And I will see you next time. See you next week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Next Level Play Therapy. I hope you found the discussion valuable and gained new insights and ideas to support your work helping children, adolescents, and families heal. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps to improve and reach more people who can benefit from this information. Remember, play therapy is a powerful tool for healing and growth. Whether you're a new play therapist or experienced, I encourage you to continue your learning journey to unlock the potential of play in your own work and relationships. If you have any questions or topic suggestions for future episodes, I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on social media and visit my website at Renewing Hearts Play Therapy Training to stay updated on upcoming episodes, trainings, and resources. Thank you once again for listening to Next Level Play Therapy. Until next time, keep playing, learning, and growing.